Okay, so we got our AX15 here, and we are going to be starting the manual swap today. So right over here, it's my Cherokee. I got the classic automatic transmission, and then under here I have the NP242 transfer case. So over here I got the AX15 with the NP231. I heard that's stronger because it's slightly shorter. This is an internal sleeve. I got the clutch and whatnot, the drive shaft, so I don't have to mess with any of that. The cross member as well. So, but the only thing I do have to mess with is these pedals. So mine's a 99. So these pedals here are pre-95, and the mounting is a little bit different than post or pre-97, and the mounting's a little bit different than post-97. So trying to get in here and mess with these pedals are quite a pain, and I've been trying to get it out for the last half hour, but it's not going out too well, so we'll see. Alright, so comparing these two brackets, these holes in the back are nearly the same. This is the manual one. Manual one. I took off the pedals. This is the automatic. So first off, I did some measuring and I cut this chunk off, and then from the automatic, this piece, which is still hot from cutting it, went there. So I cut that piece off, and now I'm going to simply weld it back on like that, and that will mount up perfectly. You just have to measure, and it should be pretty easy to do so, but as you can see, they're basically the same thing. It's just this upper mount is different than this upper mount. So it turns out we needed to cut a little bit extra, but now we are going to attempt to put this piece like that, and even though that looks stupid, it should bolt up. Okay, so the clutch line for me that I got was broken, so I have this fitting I got, two of them for $16. Kind of a rip, but it's an AM3 fitting on this end. So I drilled this hole out to 7/16 to fit this, so now I could slide it in and put that pin in, and then from there I am going to use AM3 to 7/16 brake line, and then do the brake line all the way to the sleeve. Okay, so next step in installing the master cylinder is drilling those holes right in the firewall. For me, I had this little plug that was actually in there because I have a 99, so it was able to just pop out, but I know with the older ones, doesn't just pop out. You have to drill those holes. So the next step is pulling your trans. A lot easier said than done. Took the whole day, but there it is. So now we ripped apart the center console and got the hole in for the transmission. And now it's the fun part. Okay, so I'm sure you guys know with the clutch tool, this plastic piece is too small for the pilot bearing, so you wrap some tape around it until it's just snug, and that way it fits perfectly. And so right now I'm down here torquing up the pressure plate. These pressure plate bolts torque up to 36 foot-pounds, and the flywheel bolts, these guys, torque to 105 foot-pounds. Alright, so got the tranny in. It is quite a difficult task. First off, I'd say don't put any fluid in because it all comes out of this thing into the transfer case. I mean, I'm sure you could fill up the transmission and have no problems, but it helps when you get the transmission in. It's going to get to a point where it just seems like it stops moving. It helps to thread in this bolt right here with the dowel and the one on the other side, and slowly tighten these bolts, making sure everything's going in straight, and it just happened to slide right in. Also, make sure you kind of move around your exhaust because that was holding us up too. This is definitely one of the hardest parts of the tranny swap, I'd say, so far. But with a little bit of time and patience, you'll get in. Okay, so another recommendation that I would say to do while you're putting in these bolts for the shifter. I mean, I took the shifter out so I could get the tranny in. I would definitely recommend doing that. But definitely lower your transmission before you get the cross member in and put this shifter on and get these bolts in, because the ones that are, hold on a second, the ones that are in there towards the rear wheels are a pain to get to once you have the transmission all in. Okay, so we're getting to the final steps of putting in the transmission. We're putting back the interior here, but now with this 4x4 linkage here, it's so messed up and not aligned at all with the manual tranny and the way it was before. I would just go to one of those Novak cable systems. I'm trying to fab up something. It's taken all day, at least 10 hours now. So, okay guys, so earlier in the video, if you remember, I jumped the neutral safety switch, but I saw a video which gave me an idea where they just took the neutral safety switch off. There we go. And they just left it in park by turning this. So right now it thinks it's in park. Now I'm testing something for, I jumped these two plugs here, this white wire and the green brown one, these two middle ones right here, there and there. I jumped it on this plug, and that makes the car think that it's in reverse. But I'm hoping that because this is in park, the computer thinks it's in park, and the only thing that reverse does, backup lights. So that made the backup lights always on. So if you come back here where I ripped apart the trunk back here, I found green and brown wire and I cut it, so that has power to it, so I should probably cap that. But I put it to this blue wire comes across, and I connected the, I don't know if you could see, but I connected this green and brown and this green and brown, so the power comes in from that neutral safety switch jump, comes through, goes to this, then that goes to the one reverse light, then this comes across, goes to the other, and then if you come down here, I then again cut open the wiring harness, couldn't find the green and brown there, but I was able to find the green and brown right here. So I ran this down and this down to the transmission. Under here, obviously you can see those, and there's a plug like right about there. It's only 2 prongs, and now if you could see, if I just put in reverse here, the ignition has to be on. I forgot about that. So I have my reverse lights, and then when I take it out of gear, I have no reverse lights. So hopefully that helps. Took a little minute to figure out, but just let the clutch, got started. Let's see if she moves. All right, you want to try? Reverse. Stop, stop, stop. It's smoking. Wait. Oh. No, I think we're good. It's shit on the exhaust. Alright, stop, stop, stop. We have a problem here. Pop the hood. Pop the hood here. Oh snap. Let's see. That's the stuff on the exhaust though? I think. She's smoking like a sieve.
Yeah. I do see it smoking on the exhaust down there.
Yikes. Is my slave blonde? What's that noise? Huh. Alright. Right now it's in reverse and it's not moving. Try and go into first. Let's see. Anything? Nothing. Wow. Alright. Okay, so I know the video is a little mismatched, but I finally got the manual XJ done right over here. And I thought I'll sit inside and show you what I got. So first off, with the small things, I never got the shifter to work. I ended up having to rip out the linkage, and you could buy, it's for 180 bucks, you can buy the cable shifter, or you can buy this $80 linkage that makes it a lot simpler, but I can't do that. I'll show you why underneath. I got a TJ shift boot with a TJ retaining clip, and as you can tell, it doesn't fit. But it was $6 for this, and then I 3D printed this. This is $6 as well. So I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Under here, yeah, you see this? I got this boot. This was like $3 or so. And I put it on the shift thing, and it broke just on one of these sides here. But it doesn't really matter because it was too tough. I couldn't put it in gear, so I ended up cutting these anyway. But it helps with the sound. Definitely, for sure. I just used some self-tappers, put it in there. There's still some gaps, as you can tell right there. If I put that down, it'd help a lot better. But once this is on here, all you hear is my exhaust, and you don't really hear any wind. So underneath here, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So underneath here, I have the MP242 transfer case, not the original one I had in. And if you guys remember earlier in the video, when I first tried to move this thing, it was grinding gears. And that's because, I don't know if you can tell, my shift thing, wherever it is, around here somewhere, right here, I modified it, and I cut it towards here somewhere, and when it would shift, the weld, which I never grinded down, would rub against the transfer case. So it was in between gears. That's why I was having grinding gears. Thankfully, it wasn't my transmission, which of course I have an X15. It just bolted right up. It slid right in there. I had no problems. Now with the clutch setup, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me get my light right here. Hold on a second. Okay, so it's a 5-foot braided steel cable line with a 3 AM fitting at the end. And hold on, let me do this. So that has a 3 AM fitting at the end, and this right here has obviously a male to go to the line, and then a female 7/16 by 24 brake line fitting. So then I got a union, and then I flared the slave cylinder, and it works just fine. And then over here, for the bleeder, I have the same 7/16 set up with solder on it, I think, or JB Weld. The previous owner didn't. So the previous owner of the transmission did that. So that's for the bleeder. So that wasn't too bad. Driveshaft wise, I forget which one exactly this is. I think this is 30-inch drive shaft, about, or something close to that. I got it from a manual vehicle. The automatic one won't work. I don't believe so, at least. Yeah, it shouldn't work because the manual transmission is shorter, so that brings this yoke closer to the diff, which means you need a shorter drive shaft. This mount is just a manual mount. Now it started contact right there, so I just had to cut that away, and that was all good. This is from a manual, this cross member. I was looking at my automatic one, and you should be all good. You just need this, and it should all go together. Oh, now let me rotate to the rear here. My goodness. Okay, so under here, this is my automatic drive shaft. Now you're like, hold up a second. Oh wait, is this? Oh yeah. So you're thinking to yourself, how does that work? How does that work? So if you look at this frickery right here, yeah. So the yoke was too small. It was only on there about an inch, so I didn't want to run it like that. So I had a manual drive shaft, or a drive shaft from a manual with a 231 transfer case. And because this is a 242, it's longer. So the drive shaft I had was too long, and then the automatic was obviously too short because now the AX15 is shorter. So I cut a chunk of the yoke from the one from the manual, and I put it on here and welded it, and so far no cracks. I mean, this is a $70 part anyway, so I could just buy this for 70 bucks. My drive shaft angles are fine, so if that breaks, I'll just buy it for 70 bucks, and that saves me from buying a drive shaft. And when I move over to the hood here, and the last thing is the master cylinder and the pedal assembly. So this is the 3AN fitting. And see, I should have got a 90. I didn't. That's one thing I would get, is a 90. Yeah, so this just bolts right in, really, for the most part. I mean, I know I have footage earlier in the video. And then if I get my flashlight here, you guys know I modified the pedal. So that's how the pedals are looking. And that's how it is. Oh, and make sure you put that little clip on the clutch pedal. Where is it? Right there somewhere. I don't know, because the clutch pedal fell off a couple times going down the street. Other than that, I mean, this took me 2 weeks to finish, only because I waited over a week for parts, and then once I had it all in, the guy that sold me my X15 also sold me a junk NP 231 transfer case. So I had to pull that transfer case, and I got lucky, and I had my automatic transfer case had the same spline count and was the same everything, so I was able to bolt that in. So yeah, but I would definitely say that if you have all your parts in and you have everything planned out, ready to go, you could easily do this in a day. I have no doubt about it. But that's the only problem, is that I just winged it, and it worked out. I mean, I've been driving this for a week now, no problems. Totally changes this car. I used to kind of dread, not dread, but it wouldn't be that fun to drive this thing. But I put a straight pipe on the back, and now with this manual, it is just something else. And let me just start it up real quick. It's just, you just can't beat it. And when you hear that rumble in the back and you're cruising down back roads, there's just nothing else you could ask for. So good luck. Post some questions in the comments, I'll answer them. And happy swapping.